knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is.
Football Hall of Famer and broadcaster Shannon Sharpe says he's stepping aside from his job at ESPN in light of new allegations. On Sunday, a woman filed a $50 million civil lawsuit in the state of Nevada.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
You sharing text messages, that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Denny or whoever you is.
StephenASmith is devouring this mess like it's his favorite drama series. Because Shannon Sharpe just got booted from ESPN and it is looking bad. And when I say bad, I mean career over, fans torching, merched bad. The tea is scalding hot. Not only is Shannon fired, but word is he's also banned for life after 3 more women came forward with spine-chilling accusations. And you'd think fans would be sympathetic, right? Social media. Master the internet is dragging him through the mud with zero chill.
Shannon Sharpe. Race play, I don't even want to talk about this, but the more videos I scroll past talking about Shannon Sharpe and this relationship that he had with this 19-year-old, and honestly, I was just assaulted by this information. I didn't know anything about it, and I'm scrolling, minding my business, and I see a deluge of text messages that he released from this girl that are weird and with an obvious race fetish. And it's not just her with the race fetish. He obviously was turned on by these conversations as well. And he only released what she was saying. Put a big black baby in me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I wouldn't be surprised if she was calling him the N-word during coitus. He's into that. And if this man is turned on sexually by being racialized in such a...
Social media? Oh, it's in flames. People are saying Shannon's just getting hit with the karma he's been earning for years. And the way this scandal is spinning the block on him, it's like it caught a second wind. Now, in case you've been living under a rock and missed this whole dumpster fire, let me break it down for you real quick.
Well, I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say that. What you trying to say?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at your
I ain't backing down. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your and get you an old out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young... You can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Shannon wasn't just wildin', he was out here dropping bags of cash on an OnlyFans girl. And let's be honest, she's basically young enough to be his granddaughter. Yes, you read that right. He really thought he was the king of the game, tossing cash around like he was invincible. But chilly, Shannon got played. And not just played, exploited, because this wasn't just about money. No. Turns out he was wrapped up in some disturbing race play stuff that has everyone gagging, like text leaked, audio drop. And y'all, Shannon was saying unhinged things like he wanted to choke this girl in publicly. His reputation cooked.
Us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses.
It gets even worse. Allegedly, Shannon tried to throw millions at this woman to keep her mouth shut before everything exploded. He knew the skeletons in his closet were about to kick the door down, but guess what? Sis was 3 steps ahead. She waited, she planned, and when she moved. The truth came crashing down like an avalanche. Shannon, moving reckless, moving messy.
It's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach, because I owe them that courtesy. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously. And we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making a decision. It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, we own our own business and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe.
And now he's not getting a lick of sympathy. Not from the public, and definitely not from StephenASmith, who's roasting him like it's open mic night. People are side-eyeing Shannon hard. Like, you're pushing 60 and still chasing after OnlyFans models like a freshman with no home training? Where's the dignity? Word is, even comedians like Cat Williams and Monique warned him about how these young girls will set you up. But Shannon, he was too busy giggling, thinking he was untouchable. Now look, his millions are gone, TV deals canceled, and his dignity?
Three-time Super Bowl champion, and this Hall of Famer, who emphatically stated to me over the phone how innocent he is of these allegations that have been levied against him. Insisting repeatedly that anything you read, anything you see, anything you hear was fully and totally consensual. In the same breath, what's inescapable is that without us knowing all the merits, he was working with Disney, where I've worked since 2003, excluding my departure from 2009 to 2011, and I was gone for those years. Outside of that, I've been at Disney since October of 2003. I know this place. I know the worldwide leader that is ESPN, who's under the umbrella of Disney. And it wasn't difficult for me to figure out what was transpiring. They didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to. And it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I'm not.
And honey, we're only scratching the surface of this mess. Buckle up, because things are about to get wild.
Around thinking you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. You could your own operation. You don't have to answer to anybody. That's not true. I've had people open their mouth and they've said, Stephen A., you work for ESPN. What kind of control do you do? This is my podcast. This is my YouTube show. I own this. But if you think for 1 second that I could just do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and there's not going to be any repercussions, you're clueless. And you're destined to fail and fall into this. Some people sit up there and they look at me and they say, Stephen A. don't get himself in this kind of trouble. How does he pull it off? Well, first of all, there's certain behaviors and proclivities that you never have to worry about who you get to. But most importantly than that, I often say this about Walt Disney. I'd rather work for a place with stories than one movie.
Let's be crystal clear. Shannon Sharpe didn't just lose a job, he lost a legacy. ESPN isn't just a sports network, it's part of the Disney empire. You know, the family-friendly, squeaky clean, protect the mouse at all costs, Disney? Yeah, so once those race play receipts and lawsuit papers hit the streets, Disney wasted no time. No PR cleanup, no redemption arc. They cut him loose so fast, his headphones are probably still at the studio.
In place, people don't think you belong. And anytime you're somewhere where people don't think you belong, you know what they say, Steve? Well, he don't deserve that. Who are you to tell me what God has made a mistake on me? He don't deserve.
Shannon tried to spin it like he was just stepping away temporarily. He even said he'd be back for NFL preseason like nothing happened. But baby, insiders at ESPN called Bisquick. They said it was not his choice, not even close. Shannon didn't step away, he got dragged out the back door. They only let him save face in public. Behind closed doors, ESPN was done.
White woman, because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan
There you
Majors.
go, come on, cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that. And remember, I told you the drug story from when I'm in the park.
Yeah.
So these are just the things. I had all of those when I came in. I already was.
And now, ESPN doesn't even want his name attached to them, like complete erasure. Meanwhile, here comes Stephen A. with his crocodile tears, pretending to be this supportive colleague. He gave this whole speech about feeling bad for Shannon, but honey, listen close and you'll hear it. Stephen A. was talking like Shannon's career was already buried 6 feet under.
I know. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your and get your old out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Told you. I told you. I told you.
Then he doubled down. Stephen reminded the world that Disney does not play about their image. He made it painfully clear, once you're labeled a liability, it's game over. No second chances, no last-minute saves. And those texts Shannon leaked, Stephen low-key shaded him for even thinking that was a good idea. It backfired. Just reading those receipts was enough for Disney to slam the door in his face. Stephen even clowned him for getting finessed by a 19-year-old, saying it was wild how someone his age could be that reckless.
I go to hell. For 50 million, I go to hell. For 50 million, I go to hell.
Then Stephen A. got slick. He said he wasn't talking about Shannon specifically, just people who think they're above the law. Please. Everyone knew who he was aiming at. And that's why fans have zero pity. They're saying Shannon's been preaching grandma's wisdom for years, but couldn't follow it himself when it really counted. Worse, he was warned.
And just one more thing about Mr. Sharpe. Not so sharp, clearly. It is my theory, just my opinion, my theory, not fact, my opinion. I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. It started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. Think about it. This was a 19-year-old white woman when he met her. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby. and Baby Gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old, big, black, grown man from the backwoods of Georgia. Gravy sounds like he's familiar with. Big Black Babies, he probably seen a few in his day. Born in the backwoods of Georgia where he grew up with his grandma and all them other folks. But I just don't think that came from her. Now, is she repeating it back in those text messages? Yes, that's why he released her messages, not his. Peep that. Okay? We haven't seen what his responses was. And I guarantee you, when they post those messages, y'all gonna see. All of that race started with him. It's a fetish. And he could only play that kind of stuff out with a young girl. He couldn't, like Monique was trying to tell him, get an older gal. Older gal ain't going for that. They was going immediately knew he was a freak and a weirdo. A 19-year-old don't know better. That's why she repeated it back to him, because he said it to her first. Older men, that's why they tend to want to be with younger women. They're more impressionable. They can mold them. They can shape them to be what they want them to be. Do what they want them to do. You let him come to a 40 or 50-year-old woman talking about put a big black baby and Baby Gravy. We gonna be looking like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, that started with him. Mark my words. It's gonna come out. But that race...
Yep. Go back to that Club Shay Shay episode. Cat Williams warned him on camera, told him messing around with white women could be a trap. Did Shannon listen? Nope. Then Monique came on and said the same thing. Told him those huge age gap relationships, a setup, a trap. And get this, a clip surfaced of Shannon joking that he'd go to hell for $50 million, 0 cents. Welp, the devil might have been listening, because Gabriela Zuniga, the accuser, just filed a $50 million 0 cents lawsuit.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did to me.
Okay,
But y'all, this wasn't just an age gap mess. Gabriela's lawsuit plus those leaked texts paint a dark picture. Shannon was allegedly paying to live out twisted race play fantasies, and it wasn't mutual. Sources say he was the one requesting those disturbing scenarios. Gabriela, she was just playing along for the check. And maybe it spiraled out of control, or maybe it was a setup from jump. Either way, it's not a good look.
Family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself, because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly.
And in the texts, what makes it worse? Gabriela was sending wild messages back too, real X-rated, real nasty. But Shannon only released her side of the texts, not his. Real convenient, right? But fans caught that quick. Now they're saying she was just reacting to his twisted fantasies. So even if it was consensual at first, things clearly went off the rails.
Started, lay it on me.
Get your black over here, buckwheat.
Okay, come straight out the gate with it.
Yeah,
right.
I know that's what you like to be called, ain't it? Buckwheat. Now stop flapping them gigantic lips and using them what they're supposed to use to, not talking to their superiors. I see you shucking and jiving out in them fields, and I want a piece. That's all you're good
you saying it with so much
a piece
conviction?
of me. You walk like you be wading in the water. Ooh, if my daddy and his friends saw you,
Does
boy,
he
they'd
really
take
think
you
like
out so quick.
Cause he be looking at me.
I know you want some of this fat back that I got.
No,
Make your lips all greasy, I know.
I think I'm
the
good
matter?
on this.
I thought we was just race playing. I thought you liked it.
Now here's the kicker. That leaked audio, oh baby, that's the nail in the coffin. Gabriella's lawyer, Tony Busby, came in swinging with a full-on explosive voice recording. In it, Shannon can be heard with his own mouth threatening to choke her, not in private, not behind closed doors, but in public. Like, what? And to be fair, the whole audio sounds weird, like disturbingly role-play-ish. Some fans are saying it was bait, that she set him up. But even so, instead of walking away or shutting it down, Shannon leaned in, sounded into it, giggling, entertained. It doesn't matter if it was bait or not, the point is he took it. Now Gabriella's flipping the script, claiming it wasn't consensual. And fans? They're eating Shannon alive. They're like, you're nearly 60 and you let a teenager bait you like that? The lack of judgment, the lack of control, it's insane. This ain't just some bad press. This is career-ending, reputation-shattering mess. And for what? Because you couldn't leave that wild, twisted fantasy in the dark? Shannon had the world in his hands. Decades of hard work, accolades, fame, legacy, and he just threw it all away and...
We want out of the group chat now. Like right now, because it's getting disgusting and you need to act your age. First, we had to hear the audio from when you accidentally went live that absolutely nobody asked for. We could have went our whole lives without hearing that. Then you started doing infomercials about ED pills. And now you sharing text messages that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much. Well, at what point do you say you just too old? Be like that old grandfather that every time he come around, he want to tell you about all the women he got. And when everybody else is talking, he want to talk like he's still in his 20s and he hanging out with the young folks. Pack it up. You just too freaked out at your old age. And we don't want to know about, we truly don't want nothing to do with it. Please, why didn't you just share that in the courts? Share it with the lawyers. Why did we need to see that?
Then came the most delusional twist of all. Shannon tried to spin this whole thing as him being targeted. Said he's just another successful black man being hunted. Compared himself to Jay-Z. Claimed Tony Busby only goes after rich black men. Sir? You were out here paying a white woman to humiliate you in racial fantasies, and now you want to play the black man being oppressed card? The internet was not having that. People were like, you can't cry racism while simultaneously paying to be degraded by it. Like, how does that math work? Shannon even warned folks ahead of time, trying to prep his fan base, saying Busby might leak a tape that feeds into every negative stereotype about black men. But guess what? Nobody's buying it. Why? Because Shannon walked himself into that stereotype. Nobody forced him, nobody tricked him. That was him, and the damage? Irreversible. Social media has completely turned on him. The memes are brutal. The jokes are nonstop. Even people who once idolized him are saying they can't look at him the same. And the texts, they didn't clear his name. If anything, they exposed him more. Fans were like, wait, you thought this would make you look better? At this point, people are even resurfacing old clips of Shannon acting shady or suspect, saying this wasn't his first offense, just the first one that made headlines. And the whole I'm the victim tour, it's flopping. Look, no one's denying that society is unfair to black men. But Shannon Sharpe is not the face of that fight. Not when he was actively feeding into the very stereotypes he's now crying about. He could have been a beacon. He could have walked with pride and power. Instead, he dove headfirst into humiliation and then cried foul when it backfired. This is the kind of fall from grace that doesn't just hurt a career, it shatters a legacy. And ESPN, they saw it coming from a mile away. That's why they got out fast. They weren't going to let Shannon's mess splash onto Mickey Mouse's shoes. Let's be honest, this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was years of poor judgment finally catching up to him in the most public and humiliating way possible. So now the real question is this the end of Shannon Sharpe? Can he ever recover from this? Or is he officially done, blacklisted from ESPN, laughed at by fans, and dragged by the very people who once cheered for him? And let's not forget StephenASmith, who's somewhere sipping tea behind the scenes, watching Shannon crumble and probably thinking, better him than me. At the end of the day, it's clear Shannon Sharpe didn't get canceled by society. He got canceled by himself. He made every decision. He crossed every line. And now the empire he built is ashes. So what do you think about all this? Was Shannon Sharpe really targeted, or did he sabotage himself completely? Did ESPN act too fast or not fast enough? And what do we make of Stephen A's shady commentary? Let's get into it in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because baby, the next scandal is probably already brewing, and with the way things are going in sports media, you do not want to miss what's coming next.